There was a time in my life when hiding wasn't fear. It was safety. I didn't hide because I was dramatic or broken. I didn't hide to be found. I hid because it worked. Before I ever learned how to explain myself, I learned how to disappear. Silence was never empty for me. It was full. And it's the only thing that ever held me. There are places a body goes when the world becomes too loud, too sharp, too unpredictable. For me, those places were small, enclosed, out of sight. Closets, corners, under the covers. Anywhere the world couldn't reach all at once. I didn't feel trapped there. I felt intact. I learned very early that being seen could mean being taken. That answering could mean consequences that I couldn't control. That presence wasn't neutral. So I made myself quieter, smaller, harder to find. And something should be clarified here. I was not disappearing because I wanted to vanish. I was disappearing because I wanted to stay. Hiding kept me in my body. It kept me breathing. It kept me here. Hiding, for me, was survival. And that matters. As I grew older, the hiding changed shape. I could be in a room and still be gone. I could be speaking, even loudly, and yet still be quiet. I could be present and still not be reachable. Not because I didn't want connection, but because connection once came with threat. And my body remembered. This isn't a story about blame or a story about villains. It's a story about intelligence that arrived long before language. A body that learned how to protect itself without asking permission. For a long time, I thought this meant something was wrong with me. That I was avoidant, or weak, or closed, or withholding. But none of those things were true. I wasn't withholding. I was preserving. I wasn't disconnected. I was contained. And eventually, very slowly, that containment stopped being necessary in the same way. Not because the world became safer, but because I did. I don't hide in closets anymore, but I still know how to recognize the moment when too much arrives at once. I know how to step back without disappearing. And that's the difference. This truth doesn't need to live only inside of me anymore. not because it's raw, but because it's finished doing its work in silence. I don't share this to be understood or to be held correctly. I'm sharing it because it's complete. And because honoring the places I used to hide is part of how I stay here now.